Alright, we should be live-ish. We're on the countdown anyway. Nope, wrong way. This way. Yeah, something like that. All right. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and take it down just a hair early. All right, everybody. So last time, just to review, we got the edges of these support bars soldered to the window. And now what we're going to do is, and I'm going to start at the top, is we're just going to get them nice and coated in solder. And so I'll do down to, let's see, right there? Yeah, that works. Do down to there, put the camera up, do the other side down to the same spot, and then just move on down. I've already got my soldering iron nice and preheated. I also picked up a bunch of the solder splatter off of all over everywhere. So we'll be utilizing that. Waste not, want not type of thing. Oh, and Cinderberries is here. Hi, and Cinderberries. Yep. You never know what I'll be using on here, whether it's a soldering iron, the occasional, well, I'll just call it a Dremel, even though it's not a Dremel brand tool. Everybody knows what a Dremel is, I think. But everything, soldering iron, Dremel, grinder, working with the glass in itself is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Who said that? In Cinderberries? Okay. Yep, hi. Glad to have you here. Just making sure. I know how you are. So, I'm not sure if you were here when we started on these incendiaries. These rods are actually 1/8 inch by 1/2 inch by 3 foot welding rod, and then I wrapped it in copper foil, and it's already been had flux put on it, and not yesterday, but the day before, when we were on here, we spent the whole stream basically taking the solder and soldering the sides of this thing to the pre-existing solder seams in the glass. And this is the lead-free solder, which is partly why it's this nice and bright. The 6040 tin stuff, which most people like for electronics, because it melts at a lower temperature. Um, Yep, so I do stained glass. Now, this is Spoon's window that I've been working on for ages. It's 34 inches by 34 inches. Um, and because of how big it is and all these seams in the middle, it was flexing like a lot, like dangerously. So that's why I took and soldered these welding rod these this welding steel, they're not rods, it's welding steel, um, to the back, so it's going to add rigidity to the whole thing. Oops. The only hard part is it's really hard to see on the edges here if I missed a spot. All right, there's that one. So now you'll see, it goes from coppery color to silvery color, and we're going to do the other side. I want to get this top done because it's the only section I have to stand up for. The sooner it's done, the sooner I don't have to stand up and stretch. Okay, hang on. Let me back that up just a little bit. There we go. This is lead-free solder. I mean, you could use it in electronics, but most people who work with electronics prefer the 60-40 lead or even the 50-50 tin lead. But this is lead-free solder, so it's actually zinc is what it is. But you wouldn't know that except for the patina that they sell for it. Will say either there's two colors of patina, and they make each color for each kind of solder. So they have the black and silver, or not silver, black and copper patina for lead solder. And they also, when you get the same thing for the lead-free solder, it'll say for zinc, which is how I know that this is zinc, because it just, when you buy it, it doesn't really say what it is. It just says lead-free solder. So they look the same as the rest of the piece. If that makes any sense. Well, it's already soldered to the glass because this thing is 34 inches by 34 inches. So I had too much flex in the middle because of all these seams. And so these bars are to keep it from flexing, basically. It's to add rigidity. And I suppose it would add a fair bit of strength too, but really my main purpose for it is the rigidity. Yeah, yeah. For the tops and the sides, it's just cosmetic. Although soldering the top kind of helps give it a, how would I put it? Since it's you know soldering to the previous solder, it is adding a little bit of strength. But at this point, it's mainly cosmetic. Yes, this is on the backside. Okay, let me look at this other side, make sure I got it all nice and pretty. I've got a little shadow over here, so it's kind of hard for me to see. Hey, actually, that's a good idea. Could I get somebody with a flashlight just to shine a flashlight over here? It would stiffen it, but it would still be glass, so it would be brittle. You're not going to shatter the steel bars, so um, I need you to come up on the couch. And I need you to shine the light straight down here. Plus, that would actually be more expensive than the welding steel was. These two, how much were they a piece, Ma? The welding steel. $4 a piece, I think. With tax, probably five. These were $5 a piece. Most of your glass is between $6 and $10 a square foot. So we're talking almost 3 square feet of glass. I would have to get a piece of clear glass that big, and split it in sections, and then foil it and solder it. But the whole point is this is actually the cheapest way to do it. May not be the most labor efficient way to do it, but it is definitely the cheapest way. Yes, kiddo helpers. All right, I'm done. Thank you. Yes, I'm done. I'm done. All right, so I did that one down to the little mark, which is right about here. This little piece of solder is... There we go. Ah. You mean tip cleaner? Yes. Usually, anyway. You know how it is with kids. Yes, you guys are good helpers too. Well, that might be true, but it would melt more than I need melted. Because I don't need the solder that's already on here melted except for where it meets up. Well, I actually got that part done yesterday. Yes, I will be doing a 3D Printing Nerd Joel bot. It is literally my next window. In fact, here, I'll take 5 minutes. Well, not five, but I'll take a little short break because I got it mounted on its little foam today. So, roll on floor laughing. So, there's the 3D Printing Nerd Joel bot. It's going to be roughly 12 inches by 12 inches, actually just a little tiny bit smaller than that because the paper is 12 by 12 and there's like a eighth or 16th of an inch margin all the way around. But that is literally my next project. I have the glass for it. I've just got to get the Spoonersloth window done first. Yeah, it would be pretty for a split second. That is true. And actually, knowing this house the way I do, it would probably blow a circuit breaker before we did any major damage. But still, soldering iron is the safer option. It may not be as fast. For ones this big, I kind of need one of those big um, gun type soldering irons, but this works. Huh? You still put the mail out, yeah. Because that wasn't U.S. mail, dummy. Right, but packages only, not regular mail. Yeah, I forgot about that. So the next step to this process, because I had some heat cracking and it's real hard to see, but there's some heat cracking right here. I've got some. It's actually for floors, but I think it's going to work quite well. Some clear floor epoxy to kind of lay over it and protect it, and hopefully give it enough protection so that when Spoonersloth mounts it in his home, that any heating and cooling of the room, it'll be able to withstand the heating and cooling better. Depends on what you're going for, man. Depends on what you're going for. There's a balance between speed and control. And it all depends on what your priorities are. In this case, my priorities are, well, at this point, aesthetics and for aesthetics, I need control. right back here.
Pulls back so many dirty jokes for the sake of appearing to be a lady.
Yeah.
John, get over here. Do not go be running down there. You know the rules when Dad is streaming. You're supposed to stay up here. Or you go to your room. Those are it.
All right. So, oh, I missed a couple little spots, so let me rectify that real quick.
Usually when I go for speed, I get more practice because I usually have to do it again.
That's the whole point, though. I don't want to do it again. I want to be one and done. But again, that depends on your preferences. I have very, very little time out of work, and therefore, um, since I have such limited time outside of work, the time I do have is precious. Therefore, if I do it right the first time and don't have to go back on it, although it doesn't always work, because for anybody who doesn't know, the Fun King window that I finished the other night, I actually spent the last 2 days fixing it because after getting it fixed, I broke it. I was not happy with myself, but we got it. It's fixed now, and as soon as we get paid from my wife's job tomorrow, she will get it shipped off.
Let's see. Sees Bunny in the corner. Makes girly squeal noises. Message is being held for review. Allowed to post in chat.
I got it.
The Fun King looks great.
The auto mod, Danny. Sometimes if it's questionable, the auto mod will hold it. If it's nothing offensive or
Oh yeah, no,
just go ahead and allow it. But I got that one because
yeah, but I was trying to figure it out. Like I didn't understand.
yeah, basically that was something that was caught by auto mod.
Yeah, because like it says right under it what
And
Mouse said. So it was
yeah,
like,
in this case it was fine. And yeah, that allow or deny will always be right underneath the message that it's questioning, so that
well, it's above. So
okay, well, I was looking in my bot, and in my bot it was below, but
okay. Well,
anyway, it's always easy to tell which message is the one that the auto mod is asking you about. So sorry about that, guys. I've only got uh, really one mod at a time, and it's usually either my stepson or my wife. And so I've got auto mod enabled uh, just to make their lives that much easier.
I mean, do you want to show them the new how the 3D King looks now?
I will when I get to a good stopping point.
Okay.
I'm way off camera now, aren't I?
Yeah, we're like we're in the center of the horns while you're at the bottom. There we go. Oh, hi, Errol.
Okay.
Why is it bad? Why? Look at the initial and wonder if it would fly.
Huh?
I looked at the initials and wonder if it
It's fine. I mean, Automata is just there to give us uh, extra time, but you're fine. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, I get what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
I'm slow. Give me a moment, people.
One.
That's not what I meant. All right, so we need anti-actinium and vibranium.
Huh? Why?
Well, vibranium can't break. I mean, anti-actinium is unbreakable, and vibranium just knocks out all vibrations.
Well, it's basically just like antimatter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I can't speak. Dang it. Uh, but they basically do the same thing different ways.
Yeah, one's indestructible. I mean, they're
Well,
both
they're both
indestructible.
indestructible, but vibranium does it by literally reflecting all the energy that comes into it.
Yeah. I misread Glinton's name on more than one occasion. Lol.
I know, right? I've mistyped Glenn's name on more than one occasion. Not purposely, just it happens.
There's some green ones in here that can be knocked out. No, no, no.
There we go.
Step away.
All right. I think.
Yeah, that's fine, but I need to get these guys knocked out. That's the whole point.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a deal to where you keep fighting them. So I have 200. I have 200%. No, excuse me. You're running away from me.
My wife has a chicken piece of chicken. It keeps running away from her. Or at least so she said. Sorry. The camera got loose.
Yes, so I can take on Pokemon. Now the camera's on the loose. Ah. And he is a friendly channel with a borderline name.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I got it now.
But there's a history behind that, so, you know.
See what?
And since he already had that branded and everything, I get exactly why he decided to
Right, right now.
reuse it.
Cammy? Can we split? Oh, fine. Don't eat. If the chicken is still running, it's uncooked. No kidding. And it was running. Food? Please? Food? Fine Chinese food?
No soup for you.
What about Mushu? Arlo, go lay down. Arrow, sit down and eat. Then go to your room.
That's your choice, Harold. Sit down and eat or go to your room.
Arlo, bed. Go. Go. What? Good. Ow.
Oh, that's cool, man. I was gonna try to go to Murph, but I couldn't get the time off. So I don't get to meet anybody this year. Maybe next year.
Unless they come here. I need to pull something out of my email. This way I make the phone better. It shouldn't be hot. How about ERRF? Earth.
I live in El Paso. I am nowhere near Earth. Murph would have been enough of a stretch for me.
Eastern.
East Coast Rep Rap Festival. Or Eastern West Rap. Whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Now I can't speak. Alright, fine. So then it's not hot anymore anyway.
Oh, says mouse. Let's see. Yeah, Frey J 6024 just auto hosted with 3 viewers.
Cool. Thanks for the auto host, Free J.
Hello. Racing Mouse, I am in New York, so I'll make Murph, Earth, and
New York Maker Faire,
Yes,
nice.
but still undecided about Banff.
Yeah, Bay Area is too far from me too.
So are you
Maybe,
going with
may.
alphabet soup?
Yep, nope. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm
Whether
thinking.
the rest of my family does or not is a whole nother
I
story.
get it. It's just I don't. Yeah. Not that type of alphabet soup, Errol.
Okay, now I'm dying. What you guys probably missed and couldn't hear on my mic is my 7-year-old just said that he wants that alphabet soup.
No, he wants to try that alphabet soup.
Yeah, he wants to try that alphabet soup. It's like, yeah, wrong kind of alphabet soup.
It's funny.
Yes, it is funny.
Okay, Harold, please don't. Harold E. Harold E. No, it's not.
Yeah, that.
Oh, Barry's goes alphabet soup.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's this? Those are the two things we can go to Saturday. Neighborhood pet festival. Get your hands out of the damn way!
I should let this heat up for a while so I can clean it real good again.
One's in the morning, one's in the afternoon, so. They're both. I need the one in noon in 4. Okay, so they're both in the afternoon. So we can go to the pet festival first, and then go to the my neighbor day. Ah,
My mods aren't paying attention.
there weren't any L's, B's, or O's, so it can't have any flavor. Oh, you're
That's
all set.
awesome.
Well, that's not sad. Sorry, we were making our what we were doing this Saturday. Get your hands out of the ice. Since we're not going to Klondike. It'll be tasty. Well, I had 2.5 pounds of chicken there. Yes. Yeah, you have until 7 o'clock. Yes, you have until 7 o'clock to eat your dinner. If it's not eaten, then you don't get anything else. It'll be your lunch tomorrow, John. Yeah, they're the PBS station is having Daniel Tiger Neighborhood Saturday,
Nice.
and El Paso Parks and Recreation Department is hosting pet owners pet festival on Saturday. So I figured that would give us something to do and also get out and about. Since it's supposed to be nice Saturday. Let's see. Mouse says, Rennie, I just realized that Twitch uses my old name. New one on Twitch and YouTube is Brew It, Print It, blah blah blah.
Oh, okay. You know, you can change your name, I think, in Twitch too, if you want to make it match.
Yes, Harold. What do you need?
Just remind me when you do, because I'll have to transfer your squirrels from your current username to your other one.
Since you guys have been mediocre today, yes. It means you haven't been totally pains in the asses, but you haven't been totally good either. Do you understand that? You have until 7 o'clock to finish it. And I didn't give you all that much either. I'll have to look, says Mouse.
Yeah, I know of Twitch streamers who have changed their name before. I don't really know how it's done because I'm quite happy with the one I've got, but I know it has been done in the past.
Mouse asks squirrels.
Yeah, that's my currency for the channel. Do exclamation point squirrels or exclamation point points, and it tells you how many squirrels you have, either from my bot or Streamlabs.
And I can't spell Squirrels. And it didn't take it. Oh.
Misspelling things again?
Squi. Oh. That's because. Don't say it.
LES, Mom.
Yes. Well, I spelled it the same way he did. Squi.
L-E.
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 Okay, I'm having issues today.
Apparently.
There it goes.
Sheesh.
Racy Mouse finally got it, figured it out. Yes. Jeez. That's cute.
Yeah, EL. Never mind. I
Huh?
don't know what she was doing wrong. I can't read from here. And there's also exclamation point points. That'll get your response from the other bot, I think, if I haven't changed it. Yeah, it's not exactly the easiest one to spell.
I said I'm always spelling something wrong, and I spelled wrong. Three R's, then one R.
See, aren't we just special today?
Five. Yeah, there, finally got it.
Oh, I'm way off camera again. Somebody ought to tell me these things.
Well, right, according to me, you're right on the edge of it.
Oh, good, then I wasn't off for long.
There, now you're on. See?
Yeah, the delay kills us because she doesn't sit near me. She sits in the other room, so she only gets the feed through the website.
Sorry. Mouse says bushy-tailed rat is easier. Agreed.
See, but that wouldn't go along with our raid call. And it's actually a play off of the running gag off of Up. If y'all remember that cute movie. So, since I'm talking about it, at the end of stream, almost every time, I do try to send the love on to a fellow streamer, whether it be creative or gaming. I know people in both worlds. Um, and so I will do a raid and a host, and our raid call in this channel is Rabid Squirrels. Hopefully, sometime in the near future, I will have an emote to go with that. I do have someone I have commissioned emotes for, and as soon as those come out, we will be using them.
Okay. Barry says our squirrels are mean. We have one that tries to dig its way into the wall next to the AC unit.
Yeah, they can be pests. That's there's no doubt about that.
Then Barry says, "Wait, which movie?" So
The movie Up.
I put in Disney's Up because a lot of people just don't realize. And Barry
It's
says,
a cute movie. If you have not seen that movie, I mean, the reason I've seen it is I have kids, but it is a cute movie.
Barry says, "Oh, LOL," and then in next says in caps, "Squirrel."
Yep. Squirrel.
Now we got you started. What you looking at, Harold? Harold? Ah. Never. Mouse says never saw Up.
What? You got to go see it. It's super cute. Super cute.
Barry says, okay.
Actually, I could use the flashlight again, but I can hold it myself this time.
Harold, go get Daddy the flashlight. Please. Put the book down. Go get Daddy the flashlight.
Because
Please.
on the dark side of this one, it is really hard to see if I missed anything. Now on the bright side of it, with the side that the light's coming from, it's fine.
Let's see.
Thank
Barry says,
you.
it's good. The beginning is very sad, though.
Yes, it's if you're an adult, it is definitely a tearjerker in the beginning, but the ending is so worth it.
Mouse says, sounds like something my special dog would do, lol. And Barry says, lol. Yeah, this is the most talkative we've ever been in a long time.
Yeah, no, this is awesome.
Who lets when Alex is here?
That's true.
But I noticed Alex is mod for other people too, so.
Yeah. Do you see any spots I missed, Harold? Not up here, silly. I think I got it.
No, the one.
Right here?
Yes. The hot.
Oh, it's plenty hot.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Okay.
All right. I'm just going to leave this over here in case I need it again, but I shouldn't. Because the closer it gets to me, the easier it is to see. All right, so now we're down to here.
We just figured that those would give us something to do this time. Mouse says, at least he asked and didn't test on his own first.
Yes, I will be thankful for that much, at least.
Get out of there.
The biggest problem with this welding steel bar being underneath the copper is it's its own heat sink. So that is slowing progress down a bit, but you can see I'm going to be done with this part very, very shortly. And then I guess we get to mix some epoxy. I do have some solo cups I can use, so that'll work. I forgot to pick up some of those epoxy and paint mixing cups that you can get at the hardware store when I was there earlier. I totally spaced it out.
Barry says, or else he'll learn how painful hot solder is and how much more painful it is to remove solder from skin.
Yeah. I think it's actually kind of easier to get the top side first and then come back and do the sides. Ooh. Well, that wasn't supposed to do that. You're supposed to stay in there so I can drag across, you turkey.
Mouse says, like hot PLA sticks so well to skin.
Yeah, but this is a few degrees hotter than hot PLA. Yeah. Something that I sometimes forget to do is unwind this when I still have uh, a bit on there, and when it gets too short, that heat creeps up the the strand, and that gets a little warm.
Now you're out of screen.
Fortunately, most of this down here I already did on the seam side.
Mouse says wear an oven glove.
Yeah, of glove isn't the worst idea in the world.
Hey, hey, hello. Well, I don't have to worry about that, so.
All right, let me get some light over here so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. The light probably washes it out for you guys, but I'm having a hard time seeing the copper.
Just a bit, yeah.
So I'm sorry, but it must be.
Careful, Harold.
Hi, Daddy. Hi.
I see you. There we go. Don't touch, please. Harold, what did I just say? Thank you.
Let's see. Mouse says with all that solder, it shouldn't leak now.
Well, it's going in an existing window, so leaking is not an issue, I don't think. Just trying to make this one spot look better. It's not cooperating very good. There we go. Ah, until it did that. Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put just a little bit of flux in there. I think maybe a lack of
Mouse
flux
says,
in that.
does the prolonged contact with the bar drain off the heat of the iron?
It does. It's the bar is basically a giant heat sink.
Harold, why don't you give check Red Eyes to see if she needs some food, and then also give her some food. Her food bowl is in her box.
I cannot help.
Okay.
I don't know.
Then just go get her some celery, and I'll check it later. Okay.
This one spot is just bound and determined to be ugly.
Mhm.
1,
Two or three.
There we go. That's a little better.
Daddy putting the house on fire.
No, I'm not. Now be quiet, please.
I don't know. You're out of frame, so I can't tell what you're doing.
Oh, I was using the sponge.
I see it now.
I think I'm gonna put some more flux on the side here too. Also, my bit's getting dirty again.
Thank you. BRB Seagull might have to iterate some leftovers.
Okay. I usually go until 7:30, so feel free to come on back if you want to.
Nelson Berry says, LOL. Berry also says, I made pasta.
Nice.
Not leaving, just away from the keyboard, says Mouse.
Oh, okay. No problem. Enjoy the nom noms.
What are you whining about? That's fine. What? Oh. Okay. I don't bite. True. Don't be eating your apple or playing with your apple. That's not dinner. Put the lid on your drink.
Huh. Well, I guess they must be seeing a dog that looks like your dog. Your dog has a doppelganger.
I like my special ones. Marcel says the other one is my problem child. Ah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Oh, there go my headphones.
I can't help you with that. Mouse also says, yeah, and I'm glad to know they are watching out for my boys.
Yep, that is a good feeling.
If he says you can, but if I hear him yell at you one time, you're going straight to your room. Is that
Right now I've got a CR10S, and that's all I've got. So that's
Bless you.
pretty straightforward answer. My biggest problem actually right now is my tip is kind of getting dirty.
Well, guess I'll pull out the third one. We'll have a solder cleaner on the way here by the 21st, and I'll figure out how to clean those tips. Right?
Yep.
There's for that one. What? No, Dad's probably out of the screen.
There we go.
So here's your new tip. I don't know what you did with your other tip then.
Uh, should be back in the box.
I just looked and I didn't see.
Unless it missed the.
I put it on the shelf.
Oh.
I put it up on the shelf so that I wouldn't lose it. And then I
Oh,
lost
like
it
the
again.
other one?
Huh?
Like the other one?
Well, yeah. I mean,
The first one that we almost lost?
yeah.
I mean, we ended up finding it, but.
What? Yes, 6 before 7, but then you still got 60 minutes before 7. Makes it easier to dish it up. Let's see. One more bar to go. Oh, wait. Mouse says I should have guessed from the cat print in the side window. And Mouse says I one more bar to go.
We're almost done. Right. I've got two little spots that are being really stubborn.
Now there's a big arm in the camera. Your arm's in the way.
Was in the way. All right.
You did get that. And we're also now out of screen.
Sorry, I'm just doing touch up here, guys. All right, you know what? That's probably as good as we're gonna get it.
Hey, John, give me 2 cans of cherry Dr. Pepper, please.
Really doesn't stay hot long. I just don't want Harold to be in a habit of touching it. Because if it weren't for the steel core from the welding steel, um, it would stay hot. Yes, to be long. All right. They're pretty well attached, minus this one spot that I just noticed I missed. basically. So what you do after you cut the glass, then there's sticky copper foil. Now this is the back side. You peel this paper off, and the underside of it is sticky. It sticks to the glass, and that leaves the copper showing, and it wraps around the end and the edges of the glass, and then you solder the two pieces of glass together, or, well, several pieces of glass together.
Hi. And my nice could be your tracker.
I told you, he's not doing trash right now, so.
Him will. Right, Daddy?
Probably not. Not tonight. I don't foresee having any trash tonight, John. I'm sorry.
Aww.
Told you.
I just have this one little spot in my tips.
Whoa. It's like fun. It is a fun. Right, Daddy?
Alright, it's going to force me to do it. Alright, so I've got to unplug my soldering iron and change the tip because it's being a butt.
Whoa. And I like the heat done. Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the heat done. You didn't make heat. Ew.
Okay. Alright then. Just going to loosen that up. Put the old tip out on the floor. Put, and I have a tile floor, so that's why I can put it on the floor.
Did you need tip?
Right.
Now, yes, Doctor.
Not yet. It's got to warm up the tip first.
How long do I have to take?
Well, we'll see it when it happens. This red stuff will start to bubble. It'll turn black, and then I can wipe it off with the sponge, which, while we're waiting on it, I can clean.
And wet.
It is.
I don't see it.
Barry says red stuff.
Yeah, it's a protective coating that they put on. You can buy them either with the protective coating or without. I think it's just plastic, I'm not sure. But once it gets to this stage, then you can just peel it off. Mostly.
What that was?
Almost there. See, so underneath the coating, you've got the silvery part, which is what
You bought it while you were at the store?
solder adheres to. And sometimes
Hi. Thank you for turning the mower on. I can feel it and hear it.
sometimes the little edges of this stuff doesn't want to come off. But you probably waited just a little long. Now, it ought to be way easier to do this. Because we've got a clean tip. Amazing.
I need two double A's. Yeah. Not the little itty bitty ones. The big size up. The ones that say double A, AA. The one has two A's on it, not three A's.
Alrighty.
Are those the AA's? Yes, AA. Huh? Because you gotta put them in just right. Watch
Come on.
Oh, you gotta go 7 o'clock, dude. That doesn't mean you don't wait. That doesn't mean you wait till 7 o'clock to go to my room. You summoned her home? Yeah, she's in the kennel now. Oh, don't feed this dog. That'll work. You better not be feeding the dogs. You said you weren't feeding the dogs. I thought he said the dogs like Chinese food.
All right. I think I got it. Alrighty. Okay. So I used basically a whole roll before the bars, and now we're most of the way through the second roll.
And you don't have any more, do you?
No, this is the last roll, so we'll have to get some. Yeah, I've probably got enough for Joel's, but we'll still have to get some.
We'll still need to get some. Let me see if it's cheaper off of Amazon because I think that's a $25 roll.
So we're done with that part. I've got an hour, so I'm gonna try to clean this off. I've got a little washcloth. Wash any of the like don't know how well you can see that, but I've got little black spots from the flux.
No. You need to eat your dinner. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Eat some more of your dinner, then maybe you'll drink some milk. Yeah, you can sit there and talk about that meal you want to talk about.
Where'd you put the tip, Mom? Oh, I see.
Okay, so
Uh, can someone get me the Windex out from under the sink?
Windex, please. Where? Under the sink.
It's certainly where I can.
What? No.
Thank you. All right, so I'm just gonna let's put this.
Yes, Harold, you can. Since you actually didn't fight with dinner.
aerial shot. Whoa, sort of. Ah, as the camera takes a tumble. Good thing I was still messing with it. There we go. It's not perfect, but you can see most of it. So if anyone was wondering why I feel up the seams with my hands, this is why. You don't want it sharp, so number one, if anybody touches it, they don't slice their fingers or poke their fingers or whatever. Number two, when you're cleaning it, it doesn't catch your cleaning cloth. I don't need those anymore. Those are just the prototypes anyway. The only reason I needed them was for um,
Question, right? Well, right now the chicken has to defrost before we can serve it. Okay? So that means you have to wait 30 minutes. So even if it is at 7 o'clock, you're still allowed to have ice cream. Okay? Yes. This is not 8 o'clock. Dinner, you will have your dinner eat. Harold, you need to have your dinner eaten at 7 o'clock. Then we have dessert. If I say we have dessert, and that's up until 7:30.
I will put up the Christmas boom.
Okay? Jerry says very nice.
Put it up.
alrighty.
Don't put it where
So,
you want me to put it.
oops. I am going to pick it up. Should be a much easier feat now that it's not trying to flex all to hell. Yay, no flex. Or minimal flex, anyway. It's gonna have some flex till I get the
Get over here.
um, frame on it, but
I know.
before
What?
I couldn't do that. There's no way. It would have broken itself in half. So I added just enough rigidity with the welding steel that it's not going to bend itself apart. Now let's look on the other side and see how badly I melted the seams, if I melted the seams. See, now I can handle this easily by myself, whereas before I needed someone to help me. Where before, sorry about that, the camera does not want to stay on its perch today. But before, I needed 2 to 3 people to lift it up because it was wanting to really curve right in here and basically break in half. Now, it's just fine.
Barry put up the LUL face.
Yes, I should have circus music in the background.
No. Is it stable enough with just the 2 beams, Barry asked.
Yeah, yeah, you could hang it like this. It's still getting the frame, but yes. You could solder some mounts to it and mount it like this. But I'm going to put a 3D printed frame on it with some, let me get them out so I can show you. I'll put
Barry
some,
asked, we're going to do a third in the middle. Start again. Make it the H be a little better.
yeah, it's fine now. See, these pieces are wide enough. It doesn't really want to bend this way too much. It just wanted to bend this way. So it's fine this way. It never really wanted. I mean, there's some flex to it, but since it's in thirds and there's not that many seams that intersect, basically these 3 panes, these solid panes, are acting as the support horizontally. It was the vertical that wanted to fold up over itself.
Gary says, okay.
But so once I get the frame, and I've got these prototypes that I printed out just to see what size they are. But there's a channel that the glass runs in, and then they just hook together
I see.
like so, and then they're gonna get a little reinforcing plate like so, and that'll keep them from coming apart. But my top and bottom, as well as my wall layers, are 2 millimeters thick, so it's plenty strong. It just needs reinforcing where the connection is. So they'll also get super glue too to stay together, and then once I've got them glued together, then I've got some screws, and we'll use these plates and screw them together. And then when Spooner gets it, he can get whatever hardware he wants or needs to mount it up in his window. And if you'll notice, the way the slots are, like this is a bottom piece because the slot's at the top. And then this is a top piece because I basically just flipped the lettering and stuff. But they're the same. They're the same design. It's just one is for the bottom, so when it's like that, it's upright versus top being upright. But yeah, so now basically what I need to do, I was gonna put some resin down, but I realize now that I need to print the frame, get the frame on here, and then so I can pour the resin all the way across, and the frame will keep it from pouring off the edges. So that is the next step. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to just flip that by myself. It's really nice. Not having a whole circus production. And I also have some zinc cane to put around the edges. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, to be honest. But how this would work, you've got the overhead view here, and it just kind of slides over. Come on. Some of the places where the seam's a little thicker, it'll need some extra persuasion, but essentially it just fits over like that, and you'd cut it to size, this excess here, you'd cut it and just go all the way around. And then solder it together. But looking at my frames, the came will not fit in my 3D printed frames. And I really don't want to go into Fusion 360 and fix that. So since I've got plenty of strength, I may not use the cane. I probably won't. But I've got it for other projects. If I get somebody who doesn't want the 3D printed frame, they just want a metal frame and want to do something with wood or whatever themselves, I've got stuff. So I guess we're done an hour early because I don't have the frame printed yet to put around this. So let me go find somebody to do a raid and a host. And we'll send the love on to the next person. Wherever I put my phone. Yeah, as soon as I got over here. All right. All right. Ooh, Parker's and Quinn is on. Let's pass the love on over to Parker's and Quinn. She's a leather worker, most of you have probably at least heard of her, and if you haven't, well, you get to meet her now. So I'm going to remind you of the raid call, which is rabid squirrels.